Traders, welcome back to another price action lesson here. Today's market started out with a downtrend working lower. We had a break in a new extreme. We had a nice two-legged pullback here. Had your first leg here. You see the first leg working higher. Break, second leg working higher. Nice two-legged pullback. And downtrend pushed lower. Looks like we had a lower high here to start it off. Would be the first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Then we had our second leg working higher, and then we had a lower high confirming the new high here. This is a decent lower high. It was before market open, but it fits price action rules. It makes sense. We expect a new extreme of this downtrend. So it's a nice lower high and created a new low here. This is all in the overnight session. The market didn't open to around this area. So we had a break and a new low. When I was watching this, when I came into the market, I can see first leg down, break, second leg down, very close to the measured move. So I was looking after you had the new low. I was just kind of letting prices print to see what the next market cycle is going to be. If we count from this lowest low here, you have a first entry short pullback, second entry short failure, but we're too far below the EMA. If we got a nice failed second entry short above the EMA, it would be a decent setup to consider because you do have your nice two-legged pullback on a larger time frame. But we have an uptrend working higher at this point. So a second entry long would be decent if the EMA would hold. So we have our first entry long pullback, second entry long here, but it triggered above this bearish bar, and we can't go long above bearish bar, and then we have this sketchy double bar entry. So I was more so just patient in this area, letting prices print. We eventually broke and pushed higher and created a new extreme for the uptrend here. But you can see we rejected the EMA again here, and we pushed higher. So when we pushed higher like this, I went ahead and drew this wider uptrend here. But you can see we have overshoot of this wider uptrend. So I was patient. If we got a second entry long at the EMA, which we do here, we have a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I have to be patient on the first, second entry long because we had overshoot. And since we had overshoot, I'm drawing this downtrend here a little bit wider. So it's even give us more reason to be patient on the second entry long. We're pretty much below the EMA, and two, we have overshoot and this wider downtrend in play. But you can see here we have a break of the downtrend here and a new extreme. And it looks like a very nice two-legged pullback as well. You can see it like this. We had some news come out in this area, so that's why the volatility picked up a bit. But it gave us this nice two-legged pullback. So when I saw this, I was thinking, okay, if we get some nice, maybe failed second entry short above the EMA, it could be a decent setup to go long, expecting a new high of this uptrend. We got this nice two-legged pullback, so we know that the bullish bias depleted. And if once again, if we get that push above the EMA, it would be a nice confirmation that the bulls are most likely going to want to see a new high of this wider uptrend. So if we count from the lows, we have a first entry short pullback, second entry short here, failure. So all the sellers selling under this bar here as a second entry short would get trapped because they're selling into the EMA and they're on the wrong side of the market. The bears have already depleted with these two legs down, and there's a bullish channel in play. So we're expecting the new high, so we can take the other side of their trades as a failure to expect prices to push to the new high. And you can see prices did exactly that. I actually took this trade live. This is a great setup to take advantage of. So the failed second entry short here to see the new high. So I hope this makes sense. Why this is a great trap setup with the two legs down, uptrend in play, bearish bias depleted, failed second entry short to the new high. So we have a break in a new high of the uptrend. So at this point, I'm patient. I'm pausing long. So if we get a second entry long at the EMA, I'm patient because the uptrend already played out with a break in a new high. So I'm just kind of sitting on my hands, letting price action print, seeing what the next market cycle is going to be. I have a downtrend working lower here with a break in a new low. You're already starting to anticipate maybe some wider downtrend because the uptrend played out with a break in a new high. So this failed second entry long here was quite tempting because I'm anticipating some wider channel. So this is a decent setup to take advantage of because you're expecting the reversal here. We get a first entry short pullback, second entry short here, but problem is on my signal bar on my chart formed quite sketchy, very much doji-ish. So I was patient here, but prices pushed lower and gave us confirmation of this downtrend. So I have this downtrend in play at this point, but we have small overshoot again of this downtrend. So if I got a second entry short at the EMA, I might have to be patient because of this overshoot here. So let's see, you have a first entry short. We get no second entry short when we push above the EMA like this. So it's getting a little bit unclear. I mean, I'm still not giving up on this downtrend when at this point, I'm not giving up on it. I can see maybe if we can get something below the EMA. I definitely need to see something below the EMA, though. But when we eventually push higher and when we trace this deep of the downtrend, I'm like, okay, we have to adapt. This overshoot's kicking in, and this new bullish channel is going to be our pattern. So we have this uptrend working higher, and you can see we have once again another overshoot. So that was quite the theme to start the day, was these overshoots here. So I'd have to be patient on the first, second entry long. You have a first entry long, pull back second entry long. And given the overshoot, once again, this is why I'm drawing this downtrend a little bit wider here. Now, this second entry long is a little nuanced. I mean, theoretically, you would have to skip it because you'd have the overshoot, and you always want to skip the first, second entry long, especially with this downtrend in play. The reason why this second entry long is tempting is because it closed so high up, and it's more so negating this wider downtrend because it did form so high up, that it would be hard to see the failed second entry long trap it so high up. So it's a little nuanced. This is why this one's a little bit tempting. But according to rules, I mean, if you're patient here, it definitely makes sense why. Because you have the overshoot and the wider downtrend in play. It ended up working, and we have a break in a new high here. And then prices pushed up again for the new high. So let's see what happens next. At this point, I'm just sitting on my hands. I want to let prices print and see what the next market cycle is going to be. So say we have some downtrend working lower here. You have a break of the downtrend. So I'm expecting a new extreme of this downtrend. And sure enough, prices push straight lower without offering some second entry short in this area. So now downtrend played out with the break in a new low. So I'm just seeing what I'm just sitting on my hands, letting prices print, seeing what the next move's going to be. So you have this uptrend working higher. So I'm starting to think about some second entry long at the EMA. You get a second entry long here. So you have a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I actually have a second entry long on my chart. You can see one tick higher. I saw a lot of other traders didn't have second entry long here. They never had a trigger. I actually do have a trigger on my chart, but I'll tell you why I stayed out of this one. I stayed out of this second entry long because this setup bar was so massive. And this was pretty much the main reason. I mean, you can somewhat see the two-legged pullback here, which is what we look for. So very tempting setup. But the only reason that I did stay out of it was because this setup bar here was so massive, that I wanted to see another confirmation setup here. But if you're thinking second entry long in this area, you got the right idea because we're expecting a new high of this uptrend. But once again, just another little nuance here. So the second entry long here actually failed. But then we push high and create the new high for this uptrend. So you can see quite some bullish imbalance here in the market at this point. So let's see what happened next. You have somewhat of a downtrend working lower, break new low of the downtrend, but then prices push down. Excuse me. Prices push lower like this again. We have a tiny break and a new low of this downtrend. So at this point, I'm looking to see if the bulls are going to step in and push prices back above the EMA here, because we're working quite sideways, which is why I went ahead and drew this trading range here. I went ahead and drew it like at this point when we pushed back above the EMA, because it was clear that we had some consolidation here. But when we get to this point with this break and new low, we really want to see if this trading range is going to be the main pattern. And in order for that to be, we need to see prices push back into it and push above the EMA. So let's see what happens next. Let's see if this trading range here ends up holding. You have a first entry short, pullback, second entry short, failure at this point. It actually triggered low, went lower here and then pushed up. So if we get a trigger above this bar, it'd be a failed second entry short. This is a decent setup because you're selling at the support, but I was really hoping to see something above the EMA at this point. But if you're looking for a failed second entry short here, you got the right idea. Downtrend played out with a breaking new low, and we're looking to see if the support holds for the failed second entry short. And sure enough, prices push higher. So let's see if we can get some second entry long. We push higher and push higher. So now we have this uptrend in play. This uptrend here. Prices pushed out of this small trading range, uptrends in place. So I'm thinking about some second entry long and another push higher. So even more so gives us confirmation that this channel is correct. So let's see if we can get some second entry long at the EMA. You have a count reset, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but so far from the EMA. We need something closer to the EMA. When we have a tiny break of this uptrend and a new extreme. So now I'm pausing longs. If we get some second entry long at the EMA, I need to be patient and wait for the next market cycle and the next pattern to form. So I'm just sitting on my hands letting prices print at this point. You have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but once again, we just have to be patient. And this is below the EMA with this downtrend in play. We have a break of the downtrend and a new extreme. And prices push back up the EMA. So it's getting a little bit unclear. You're starting to anticipate some maybe possible trading range because it's getting quite sideways. But let's see what happens next. So you have this tiny uptrend in play with a break and a new high, and we're back below the EMA. So now it's pretty clear. We're quite sideways. I'm looking for some support and resistance at this point. And we're just kind of working sideways. So when I'm in this tight trading range like this, I'm just sticking to the tighter channels. We have a downtrend working lower. The first entry short pullback, second entry short here, formed quite sketchy on my chart here. But you can see you have a downtrend with a break and attempt to create a new extreme here, but support's holding prices, and we push higher. And you can see we're very much sideways at this point. So I'm just kind of letting prices print, seeing if we can break out of this sideways action or potentially get something at the support or the resistance. You have a downtrend working lower with a break and a new low. You have a first entry short pullback. So I was starting to think about some second entry short here at the EMA. Or excuse me, a second entry short failure. I was starting to think about some first entry short pullback, second entry short failure here at the EMA, which would be a decent setup because prices bearish bias played out with a break in a new extreme. Support of this trading range held. So I'm starting to think about some failed second entry short here at the EMA. Take advantage of prices pushing back up to this resistance level. But you can see prices just push straight higher here. So we have this uptrend in play. You have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but bearish bar very far from the EMA. And some downtrend here in play. So downtrend is now with a break and a new low. So uptrend didn't create a new high. And it's very common because this is a very tight trading range. And the resistance held at this point. We actually had like somewhat of a small overshoot. So price just reversed back into the trading range with a break and a new extreme. So we're just sticking to the tight channels at this point. And you can see we're getting quite late in the day, right at about close. So we have a downtrend with a break and a new low. It looks like prices are pushing back into the trading range, but then we were rejected. So at this point, we're just kind of sitting on our hands, letting price action print and seeing what the next market cycle is going to be. So yeah, guys, that was today. We can just go back and look at it in summary. We had a first leg down, downtrend working lower, break in a new low, 2 legs down on a larger time frame, which led into this bullish channel. Well, we first started off with this tight one with the break in a new high, but then we kept pushing up here. So we drew this bullish channel with an overshoot, 2 legs back. So we know that the bearish bias depleted with these nice 2-legged pullback. Failed second entry short, perfect setup to test the new high of the uptrend. Downtrend working lower with an overshoot. Downtrend didn't get a new extreme because the overshoot kicked in. We had another overshoot of this uptrend, but eventually prices had a break of the uptrend and a new extreme. We eventually turned in this sideways action to this trading range here with a downtrend with a break in a new low, uptrend with a break in a new extreme, and then downtrend here with a break in a new extreme. So we're part of this small trading range here. Prices pushed out of the trading range with this bullish and bias kicked in, this bullish imbalance, excuse me, kicked in, and prices eventually pushed higher. We had this nice uptrend in play. We were looking for a second entry long at the EMA, but we had a tiny break in a new high. And you can see prices just eventually turned sideways and stayed inside this trading range here. You had a tiny break in a new low, breaking a new high, and we're just sticking to these tight channels in this trading range, looking for something at the support and the resistance here. But it was just quite sideways towards the end of the day. There wasn't much to offer. Just breaking a new low, breaking a new high, breaking a new low, uptrend working higher, resistance kicked in, and pushed prices lower with a break and an extreme. That's pretty much how the market closed. So yeah, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, please feel free to hit that like button below. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I actually have a trading community where I post charts daily in real time, and I'm here to answer any questions for you guys in real time. So if that's of any interest to you guys, please feel free to check it out below. There's a link in the description. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys had a good trading day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.